that truly move in the squared circle, like move the way they do, pressure the way they do, stick and move the way they do. They're special fighters, and Bam Rodriguez is the last of a possibly dying breed.
Talk about Mexican Independence Day. We can call this Teddy Atlas here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You heard from the champion himself, knocking out the competition.
Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And I'm like our guest this evening, Marissa from the media outlet Fight Culture. When I say fight culture, we're talking about MMA. We're talking about boxing. We're talking about jiu-jitsu. We're talking about anybody that puts their hands up and ready to tag each other, ready to go at it. She's on the scene covering. She commentates. She gets the post-fight interviews. She's right in there, right in the juice, making it happen. She gets all the cheeseman, all the backdrops, whatever you want. Make sure you subscribe to her channel. It's a channel that's blowing up and is the future of the media in the 559 area. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, Marissa from Fight Culture. Welcome to The Fighter's Voice.
Thank you for having me.
Marissa, I don't give that away. I gave it to you because I'm watching you and it's well-deserved. You're on the low, and every time I see you, you're covering an event. First of all, I mean, where do you get the time to do it? And talk to us about Fight Culture. When did it prosper? When did it begin? And where did you get the name?
So to touch on the first question, I don't know where I find the time.
Okay.
I work a full-time job. I'm also a wedding photographer. So in between all of that, all the rest of my time goes to this. Fight Culture began back in 2019. It began, I was just a photographer. I was photographing MMA up in Nevada. I'm from Turlock, California, so here in the 209. And I used to travel to Nevada almost every month, photograph King of the Cage, legendary promotion. So it was an honor to be able to begin there as a photographer. And then from there, it kind of just flourished into what it is today, which is I try to do everything, which is tough.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. You talked about wedding photographer. First of all, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up. Fight Culture is now married. Fight Culture, your new logo should have like a wedding band on it now.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And wish you nothing but happiness, prosperity, and let us know if there's ever going to be any little Fight Cultures running around soon.
Hopefully soon. It was a big life thing happening recently. So I had to take a step away from Fight Culture for about a month and a half to get all that taken care of. But you know what? Life is life. And I'm so blessed. I'm lucky, but I'm back. I'm ready to hit it harder than I did before.
You know, a buddy of mine who runs, it's called the Black Corner, Shelly Hollis. He said, Richard, you got to get her on the show. And I said, bro, I'm already ahead of you. I see what she's doing. It's just, I got to narrow her down. I got to get a hold of her, inbox her I personally read all my messages. I really do. Even if it's the ones that, okay, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you or whatever it is. Between that and working a solid job, I am who I say I am. I really do reach out to people. And when people hit me up, hey, I would love to come on the show. There's a lot of factors, do you have a story? What are we talking about? Sometimes I got to tell a fighter, brother, you haven't fought in 4 years. I mean, is there a story? Are you a promoter now or did something happen? We always make room for that top story because that's what we do. I can say, if I ever had a cancel on you, it'd probably be because, hey, I just won the lotto. I got to sign these tickets. Or can you hold on 30 more minutes because I'm going to have Dana White on? I mean, we understand about that, right? It's just like when I tell people, okay, I've been hired to commentate. So Richard, will you be there? I will be there. Unless ESPN calls or unless Golden Boy calls, I just keep it 100. And with you, I see you just plugging away. I see you at a lot of different events. From a lot of people don't make that transition from boxing to MMA. You do it and without a hiccup. Is that something that you just study journalism on? Or like, I think you just have that natural ability?
Yeah, so I kind of, like you said, I believe it's a natural ability as well. I mean, I kind of just fell into this. I had no intent of doing journalism whatsoever. I was just photographing. And then, when talking and speaking with people from that promotion, they were like, hey, you kind of, sound like you know what you're talking about. And so I kind of just fell into this. And so being able to transition from different combat sports, it really comes from my coach, my mentor. His name is Carlos Becerra. He's from Turlock, Team Machina Combat. Shout out to you guys. So watching them train, they are crossover fighters. Whatever comes up, whether it be boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, they're there and they're participating in the sport. And so being there and being able to be surrounded and immersed in that culture of ready for anything that comes up, that's kind of just what helped me transition and be able to cover different sports and effortlessly. Truly, it feels effortless to me.
You don't even know what's going on in my mind right now. I'm going to be honest with you. And my producer's already smiling at me because I like the collaboration. I'm just barely talking to you right now. And I could already, I know talent when I see it and when I hear it, but I do, and hold that thought. But I do want to tell you about another talent that's taken over, not just the 559, not the 209, but we're talking about taking over the world, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the future of combat sports. Go to fightbook.com to pre-register. They've already launched June 1st and it's going crazy. They're giving you a platform for the fighters, the fans, the coaches. Everyone in the fight game can now showcase their services. FIGHTBOOK is changing the fight game forever. Pre-registration started now. Go to FIGHTBOOK. Because as a fighter, as a commentator, as a ring announcer, whatever it is that you want to do, FIGHTBOOK will give you the opportunity. Once you get that app and once you follow them, you can showcase their services. So what do you think about FIGHTBOOK?
Oh man, I have seen FIGHTBOOK pop up everywhere on my feed and I love
They're
it.
taking over.
Yeah. I love the idea. I love the concept. I think it's beautiful. I think you see it every day in the influencer world. So to transition that into combat sports, it's beautiful. I love what they're doing.
I love the fact that they're right in the middle of it. That they're right in the middle of the Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez fight. They're right in the middle of the Bud Crawford fight. I mean, they are who they say they are. They are, honestly, when I say it, they're taking over the world as far as combat sports. They really are. And there's nothing like, Marissa, endorsing something that you truly, truly believe in. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see where FIGHTBOOK takes what they're doing. And like you said, it's blowing up and it's blowing up quick. So that's exciting.
It is exciting. But what's also exciting, did you hear today? I mean, Canelo and Crawford, it's finally set. It's done. It's a done deal. So let's talk about that matchup a little bit. I mean, what do you think about it for the fans? What do you think about the location? It's finally been said it's going to happen in Las Vegas, and just the matchup itself.
Well, the fact that it's in Las Vegas, I mean, I didn't want it anywhere else. Let's be honest. I mean, the
Yeah.
mecca of boxing currently in this day and age is Las Vegas. I mean, the mecca for combat sports is Las Vegas. That is the hot spot. That is where people want to be. So to hear that it's in Las Vegas, thank you. But in terms of the matchup, I mean, it's been a long time coming. I think the fans are kind of at that point. Thank you. Finally, it's happening. And now it's pen to paper, and it's going to be an amazing fight. The fans are in for a treat. I mean, Canelo style versus Crawford. Whew, what a matchup.
It is a matchup, and they're all friends right now. But as the training camps start and they start the real tour, and they, they start to put that fight face on and start to endure everything that's reality, everything. I can't wait. I just think it's going to be an aggressive stare down. And I think don't be surprised if it gets physical. And I don't expect Bud to back down one bit. And Canelo's Canelo, Bud's Bud. And hey, man, it's I love the matchup. I think of Sugar Ray Leonard. I think of Tommy Hearns. I think of Oscar De La Hoya. I think of Floyd Mayweather. I think of all the big names finally coming together. I know David Benavidez has been, I don't want to say put on a shelf. He just hasn't been someone that's been chosen that Canelo wants to fight. But Canelo's have to say, hey, I'm the name here. I could choose different fights. And right now, this is the fight he chooses. And it's going to be one heck of a matchup. And I think David Benavidez is right there with them, though. He really is. I mean, how can you mention Bud Crawford and Canelo and not mention the Mexican monster?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, the exciting matchup. This is a fight that I think the fans have been waiting for in terms of boxing for a very long time. I'm talking like out of your seats kind of fight. And like you said, the buildup is going to be amazing. I don't see Crawford backing down either. And Canelo kind of turns into a different whole character when he has all those belts on his arms,
Yeah.
standing there in the face off. So yeah, I can see that getting physical possibly. But yeah, in terms of Benavidez, I mean, he's right there. Them three, once this fight is over and done with, like
Yeah.
you said, Canelo is the A side. I see his argument, I see his reasoning, but we got to get that Benavidez fight.
We got to get that Benavidez fight. And if Bud is already taking on Canelo at 168, and if, okay, say Canelo says, okay, Benavidez, I want to fight. Okay, Canelo's not moving up to 175. It's going to happen at 168. So hold that thought. Say Bud Crawford does what he needs to do and is victorious. Don't be surprised if the talk now is Bud Crawford and David Benavidez at 168. So I'd call it even, only because David Benavidez is now a true 100 light heavyweight, possibly cruiserweight if he chooses to go that route,
Yeah.
depending on what happens with Ramirez on the main event of the Jake Paul. I'm sorry, he's the co-main event of the Jake Paul Julio Cesar Chavez. So if he brings him down in weight after he's there at 175, then you could say it's a matchup. But see, nobody talks about it now because of the height and the reach. But we got business in hand. So just hold that thought, because I think the fight is going to happen. I think David Benavidez will fight the winner at 168. You heard it first, only on the Fighter's Voice.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I do believe those, both Crawford and Canelo, would be going up to one set, anything 175 or above. Let's not. 168 is the weight to do it, and
Yeah.
you know what? The winner of which of the fight, nonetheless, whoever Benavidez is going to face, that's going to be an insane fight as well. Like,
Absolutely.
that is going to be one that you
Absolutely.
don't blink.
Absolutely. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. When I mention the name Bam Rodriguez, what goes through your mind? I mean, you already know where he's come from. Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy, not just a champion, but now in the top 5 of pound for pound. I mention him because he's blessed us by making a stop in Fresno, California, when he was on the undercard of Mikey Garcia and Martin. I mean, so Bam Rodriguez got some big fight coming up. I think we need more Bam Rodriguez's in the sport of boxing. What's your take on that?
I agree. We need more Bam Rodriguez's. He's kind of, and this kind of brings me back to the recent news of Lomachenko retiring. Like,
Yeah.
there are only these few that truly move in the squared circle, like move the way they do, pressure the way they do, stick and move the way they do. They're special fighters, and Bam Rodriguez is the last of a possibly dying breed. And I think the more he fights, the more people see him fight, the more that the up and comers will start mimicking that style or be more inspired to have that kind of style. Because regardless of any time Bam Rodriguez steps in that ring, that's an exciting fight. That is a fun fight. That makes you sit there and say, wow, I love boxing. And so, Bam Rodriguez, you hear that name, you see him, booked and scheduled to fight, you just get excited.
You do. And, Robert Garcia doesn't co-sign too many fighters. And I remember walking into his staple years back. And he said, yeah, we're going to have so-and-so on the show. We're setting up the podcast. We're getting ready to set up Mikey Garcia, who's getting ready to take on Errol Spence. And actually it was years before that. He said, okay, well, make sure you do this. And he said, hey, we also got Josh Franco right here. And we got Bam Rodriguez here. He goes, make sure the young kids, make sure you talk to him. This is when they first started coming up. And when I watched them and I talked to them, just their personalities, I mean, they were such respectful kids. They listened very well, but I remember their work ethic. I mean, it was second to none, even at that young age. I didn't say, oh yeah, they're going to be champions. I'm not saying Bam was, I knew Bam was going to do that. There was just something special about them, their work ethic and just the way they put it together at a young age to be a true professional like that. It goes a long way. You talk about boxing, having great muscle memory. Well, let's have good mannerism memory. And they do, and they did. And here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to hear that is amazing, because being surrounded by so many young up and comers, especially here on the regional scene, you feel that you're kind of losing that. They want some sort of little push up, a quick shot, to the top. And so I feel we need that humble mentality back, that grind back. And it's not that it's going away completely, it's just that I feel, maybe possibly because the whole Jake Paul thing, I'm not too sure, but people feel a little bit too entitled to get to that top spot too quick. And so, hearing Bam Rodriguez was so humble and dedicated at that young age, we really need that back. So I think every time I hear his name, I'm like, mimic that, because that is exactly the kind of work ethic you need in order to get to the top and get to the position that he's in today.
Being a journalist, being a media, covering fights, trying to get that hard question in there, or trying to get that opportunity to do post-fight interviews or commentate. How did fight culture get that opportunity, get that break, get that first, okay, now I heard you, now I want more of you? How did you get that opportunity?
Yeah, so it really, funny enough, it just comes down to um young promotions. So young promotions kind of have this financial barrier, and it's very common, of course. And so if they find somebody that's willing to do anything they can for the company, just knowing that they have a slight interest, oh, they'll jump on that opportunity. And that's just kind of was me. I kind of sat on, you know I was like a fly on the wall, listening to how the business functions just as a photographer, but listening to, like, the financial part of it, the drama part of it. And so when I kind of heard, like, oh, we can't really afford so and so, I don't know what we're going to do. And so and this was the king of the cage. And I go, well, I can do it. I don't know too much, but I can give it a shot.
There you go.
And it's kind of just been like that since. Anytime, there's an opportunity to raise my hand and say I am willing to do it. I don't know how to do it too well, but I can learn off the fly. And that's pretty much how every opportunity comes about. And then from there, I kind of just prove myself, and they keep me around, which I'm very grateful for. But it truly is just sit back, watch, your opportunity will come. You just have to speak up for yourself and truly believe that you can adapt. And that's what I really feel. I'm a truly adaptable person when it comes to this thing. And that's why I have so many titles, or so many things that I do, just because I want to be that adaptable personnel, to where whatever you need me to do, I may not be a master of it, but I can definitely do it.
Well, having a lot of hats, putting on a lot of hats, what do you feel most comfortable in? What hat do you feel like, okay, I can do this with my eyes closed? Where does your natural talent come out?
I would say commentary, just because I've always been a talker. I just love talking. And if it's something that's
No, I can't
piques
tell.
my interest, yeah, if it piques my interest, I'm talking. And so commentary has probably been the thing that's come most natural as well. Interviewing was a little bit difficult at first, just because I really wanted to separate myself. I didn't want to be the typical, how did you prepare for this fight? Who would you like to thank? What's next for you? I never wanted to be that typical interviewer. I wanted to be the one that, and I do this a lot, is of course I'll start with those questions, but then I love analyzing their fight as they're fighting, and I'll just sit there and chop it up with them. And fighters love it. Like, they light up when address, like, oh, you made this adjustment, you switched to southpaw, you had success there. They love it. Fighters' eyes light up when you bring up something like that. And just because they love to hear what they adjusted and how, they became successful, particularly in what they're doing. So I really wanted to become that type of interviewer, but it didn't come natural. Commentary did come very natural to me, just because I loved analyzing and seeing exactly what's happening in front of me, talking about a fighter as they're walking out, hearing their story, touching on their story a little bit, so people can know who they are before they step into, the cage or the ring. They are 1% of the population who are willing to do this. And so to be able to talk about them before they enter a ring or a cage, it's beautiful to me. I love doing it. So I think commentary is the favorite hat that I wear.
And you're going to shine when you have a ring announcer that knows what the hell he's doing by announcing fighters to come in and allows you to talk without him talking over you. And when you have another commentator next to you that recognizes that you're giving him or her an alley-oop and not stepping over you.
The future of combat sports, a centralized platform where fighters, fans, coaches, promoters, and anyone involved in a fight game connect, communicate, and do business. Fighters can find fights, fans follow every move, and everyone in a fight game can showcase their services. Whether you're looking to promote a fight, find a cutman, or book talent, it's all here. FIGHTBOOK is changing the fight game forever. Welcome to the revolution.
When you have a great team and everybody's on the same page, you're going to have nothing but success. If I've been around a team where I'm like, okay, is the ring announcer going to talk? Or now that I'm breaking it down, now he starts talking, and I'm thinking, what are we doing here? You're going to get that, and trying to make that transition on the fly and be professional as possible. I always said to myself, you're as good as your last link or your weakest link. I don't like to say the weakest link, but it is what it is. You have to get everybody on the same page. And those prep meetings, those fight meetings are valuable. It's like playing a guessing game without. And I've listened to you, and I could tell those take place, or I could tell that there's chemistry there already. And that's what keeps it floating, because everybody gets their time to shine. Everybody gets their chance to talk, and everybody gets a chance to showcase the person next to you, as well as the ring announcer.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been to a couple shows that, where things get twisted up like that. And it's very difficult, but, again, just being able to adjust, adapt,
Yes.
it's definitely
Not
a
get
skill in
frustrated.
itself. Yeah, yes, not get frustrated. I've had to commentate a show entirely by myself once. That was tiring, both mentally and physically. Making sure there's not too much dead air, but also I'm kind of
Yes.
talking to myself. So,
Yeah.
it is a difficult job. It's a difficult job if you don't have a team. And it's a difficult job just in general, but one of my favorites. And I seen you were just commentating, correct? This past weekend?
Yes. This weekend with
That
Big
is
Dog Bare
awesome.
Knuckle Boxing, and before
Yeah.
then, give a shout out to Marv Nation in the Zone. Appreciate the opportunity.
Wow. Yeah. So, it's been awesome just to see, so many people I follow, we're kind of killing it right now.
We do our best all the way around. Iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
No, but you do a good job. And I asked you about being able to, knowing that you have a good team around you, making those adjustments. Now I'm going to ask you this: what do you feel most comfortable doing, MMA or boxing?
I would say MMA. I think I've been immersed in that culture a little bit longer. MMA is not my favorite sport. I think my favorite sport is Muay Thai. Muay Thai is it's not my favorite to call just because there's so many technical terms. It's such a deep rooted culture, so it's not my favorite to call, but it's my favorite combat sport. I love watching it. In terms of calling, I would say MMA, just because I've been in the culture a lot longer. I've been involved in that sport a lot longer. And but being able to do boxing has been amazing. Speaking with Shelly, being next to him, he's amazing, and he welcomed me with open arms to my first boxing commentary gig, and it was just awesome bouncing off with him and Brandon. It was there. Those guys are amazing. But I would say MMA is probably my bread and butter.
Well, there you go. Find your strength, stick with it, but never limit yourself. And yeah, you're doing a good job. Where do you want to take fight culture? Where do you want it? Where's the ultimate goal? I mean, do you got a podcast? Do you got a YouTube channel? What do you have? And if you do, let everybody know so we can follow and subscribe.
Yeah, so ultimate goal, I think just continue to do this, represent the fighters in this area. The 209 is a very large area, 559 very large area, and there's only a handful of us that do it in this region. So I truly just want to represent the fighters here. A lot of people say big goal to get with the big show, the UFC, Golden Boy, Top Rank. If that opportunity presents itself, of course I would do it, but it's not my ultimate goal. I think my ultimate goal is truly to represent my people of my area, uplift them, and help them get to where they need to be, and just continue to do what I love, while also not completely limiting my family's resources. So, continue to have that full-time job and continue to do wedding photography. I just have so many interests that I don't want to limit myself. So yeah, ultimately uplifting everybody around here. And a lot of my stuff you can find on YouTube. It's the Fight Culture podcast. And I take a lot of time to speak with fighters, pre-fight interviews. And sometimes, break down upcoming UFC cards, upcoming boxing cards that pique my interest. And yeah, and a lot of my content is on Instagram at Fight Culture CA, Fight Culture California, where I actually do these kind of digital magazine style things to either help promotions promote their upcoming shows, or just to recap on those shows. And people love those. People love them. It's magazine style. I think people really appreciate that. So those are one of my favorite things to do when it comes to breaking news, or reporting on what's going on here. I like doing some news stuff. That is very difficult. It is time consuming, having to scroll on the phone and see what's going on regionally. There's just so much going on. So I'm attempting that. That one's a little bit tougher. But I would say majority of my content is on Instagram.
Well, that's good, because a lot of people do want to know, and I always ask that question because I think you do a good job on both of them. And but there's always that comfort zone, and you feel comfortable doing it. And there's always that one that I can lean back and say it's on cruise control because I know this. I feel comfortable doing what I'm doing. And like you said, there's a lot of different vocabularies as far as Muay Thai. I mean, and as far as their culture, and as far as they're deep rooted, from what they wear, from what they listen to, that platform is all about respect, from that dressing room to the ring to outside of that dressing room. They take this serious. It's not just a fight. It's a lifestyle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful. That sport is beautiful, just all around. The fighting style, the culture. I love it. And yeah, so speaking and talking about that sport is very difficult, just the terminology and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I love reporting on it. I love uplifting those fighters, just because that is kind of an untouched market as well. Just because Muay Thai is so fresh in America. It's been here for a few years, but you don't really hear big names coming out of here, and that's just because it's so fresh in America. And it's definitely a different style. When people go out and speak on Muay Thai, they'll specifically say American Muay Thai, and then everybody else is doing Muay Thai wherever you're from.
Yeah.
But American Muay Thai is very specific. It's a certain type of style. It's a certain type of feel with the touch of the culture from Thailand. So it's a difficult sport to report on. But I definitely am growing in it. I'm learning as I go, and the community is so welcoming. It's just all around beautiful sport. I love it.
Who inspired you to do what you do? I mean, what media outlet out here, either locally or worldwide, inspired you to do what you do?
So one of my good friends, Chicana Boxing, she is one of the first pages that I followed. And I actually got to meet her out in Fresno when Golden Boy came out, I believe last year around April. And so I got to speak with her for the first time in person. So she was one of my first media sources that I followed, even though she's not even in my area. I just happened to stumble upon her in the area. I believe you were probably one of the first people that I heard of and seen doing what we do. And so you were one of the first people as well. And then I just got in touch with a good friend of mine, Michael Hernandez. He does MMA media here in the 559 area. And so me and him kind of chop it up, and we're like this now. So, it's kind of just been, we have a good community of reporters and journalists in our area. But I would say you were one of the first people that I seen in our area doing what we do.
Hey, I didn't ask that question for that, but thank you. I appreciate that. You're doing a good, you're doing a good job. If I, did anything to influence anybody, I do appreciate what I do. I don't know if you know my story. I do it all for my son. Every breath that comes out of my mouth is for my son. I dedicated my whole career to my son, and yes, to keep my son's legacy alive, and to open doors for other people. And God has blessed me with the opportunity. I'll tell you a quick story. I would have people on the show, and when people come on the Fighter's Voice, honestly, I was just talking today to this about with our producer. I said, everybody that comes on a show, their career takes off. It does. I remember when Orozco was on our show, and now she's doing big things as not just interviewing fighters, but interviewing the red carpet, using her skills or platform. People that come on our show, they continue to prosper and bless. And I remember feeling sorry for myself. I'm driving home on the freeway. I did an LA interview, and I'm thinking, man, when's my career going to take off? When's my career going to prosper? And God just quickened me and said, didn't I just give you the senator of the Philippines 45 minutes ago, which is Manny Pacquiao? I mean, didn't I just give you the opportunity to interview him? So I got quickened. I mean, Lord spoke to me right away and said, boom, put it right on me. I was just kind of like, man, when am I going to blow up, or when am I going to have this opportunity? And God said, 45 minutes ago, you were just sitting next to Manny Pacquiao, the senator of the Philippines. So hush. So now I give it to God, and I'm happy when other people prosper. What kind of gets me a little bit, I mean, because if I say I did it, then I'm not a human being, is when they don't even say, I appreciate it, or thank you, or a lot of people seem to forget where they started. A lot of people seem to forget the opportunity you've given them. That's just life. I learned to realize that that's just life. So what I do is, I either make a choice not to follow them because their head is blew up so much and they're conceited, or I pray for them. So I think praying for them works better than, as far as, I don't like to use the term hater or jealous, but I'm thinking, like a fighter sees a fighter, Marissa, and he says, I can beat that person. But until they get that opportunity, we'll never know. So as a commentator, as someone doing post-fight interviews, I think to myself, they're the champions because they're with the big networks, but I could beat that fighter. I can compete with that fighter. But until I get the opportunity, I'm going to be here. So, I'm not afraid to say how I feel or what's going through my mind, because I'm not a fake person. And I always tell people, what you see is what you get. So you either like it or you don't, but we're going to continue to go forward and do what we love to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I hear you there. And speaking of Orozco, yes, love her. I met her in 2023, I believe, at a Top Rank event. And that's when she was first starting out as well. Love her. She's amazing. And I think I was able to catch that interview as well. She is doing amazing things.
Awesome.
I still talk to her to this day. Making sure I check in on her. I don't know if you're aware, she's been having these health scares. So prayers up to her. I've been praying for her, making sure she's okay. But man, that girl is killing it. And she is really driven and focused. And she's real too. She's a real person. She keeps it real with you as well. And that's what I love. And so hearing you speak on that, I love that. I mean, because I as well, I'm a very authentic person. There's nothing fake about me. If I'm going to be a hater, I'm going to tell people, yes, I'm hating on you. I'm not going to lie. I'm just straight up. That I have nothing to hide. I'm too I'm too open. And so, when it comes to people that I speak, I recognize recognizes real. That's a real saying. That is a true
It does.
Yeah, to the T. That is a true statement. And so, yeah, I love hearing that. And I again, that's all we can do, especially growing up in this area. It's just all we can do is be our authentic self.
Exactly. And you know what? There's only so many events we can do. I mean, when I say that, I say it like, I'm not trying to do them all. I'm not, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Bro, come on, man. I'll don't be surprised if I say, hey, I can't make it to an event. I've told ring announcers when I've been asked at the last minute or been double booked, or, hey, I know a great commentator, or I know a guy, trust me, a great post-fight interviews, or I'll say, I don't know anybody, or they'll ask you about a person and I'll say, you know what? I can't co-sign this person. I mean, I know what they do, but I just, as opposed to saying, yes, let me send you Shelly. Let me send you Marissa. Yeah, here's her contact, or I know a ring announcer. Here's this, but I could also tell you, I wouldn't call this person only because they're a no-show, or they didn't do their homework, or they didn't respect the platform. If you're going to do this for the money, get out of it. Get out of it. But when everything happens, I've said to myself, maybe about twice, wow, I'm getting paid to do this. I was like a kid in a candy store. And, long as, my meal's covered, my room is covered, and where I don't have to reach out of pocket, everything else is a bonus and a cherry on top. It really is. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't work for free, but I did all those pro bonos. I did all those, and you got to be careful. I did a pro bono show in Fresno, California. It wasn't Battle of the Badges, but it was pretty close to it. And my fee, I'll keep it right there. I would ring announce for $1,000. So when I told them their next event, I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'll come in as a sponsor, pro bono, but you get me on the next one. This is a true story. They said, okay. They didn't even put my logo up or nothing. The next one where they're supposed to get me back, oh, we no longer need your services. But you got to remember, I started off with them. The first show, I got 200, 400, 400. I said, bro, I can't keep doing these for $400. Go hire, my credit. I've ring announced. Top Rank Boxing let me ring announce for them. I was given the opportunity, and I did in Lemoore, California. So that resume is there. It must account for something, but I just couldn't keep doing it for the price that I was doing it. Plus getting fighters, plus giving them as an advisor, do a lot of things. Long story short, I'm not going to mention their name. I'll let you put 2 and 2 together. Just be very careful on what you give away. For me, the only thing I give away, I don't even give away advice for free. You can sit me down as an advisor and we can do everything. Why should I sit down and give you advice for free? Now you got it on cruise control. You no longer need me. So I understand the business. So let's sign a 6-fight deal where I'll be your advisor for 6 fights. Afterwards, our relationship, if we're cool, then we can stay here. I'm not going to outbid my position, but I'm not going to lowball my position either. Let's keep it on cruise control and we can have a long existing relationship. This segment is sponsored by the MALDONADO Brothers, proudly serving the Central Valley for over 25 years. From Visalia to Chowchilla, whether it's an expert tree service or professional landscaping, we offer free estimates and a team you can trust. Voted best in Central California for 2024 and aiming for a repeat in 2025. Call 559-994-7746 today and let's bring your outdoor vision to life. Superior quality to create your perfect environment. But you always got that person, I'll bring this guy in, he's cheaper, or this woman in, she's cheaper. But do they know what you know at the end of the day? So if you go into business with friends, ask yourself, do you value your friendship over the business or the business over the friendship? It's not if, it's when. It just happened. That's the nature of the business we're involved in. So that's my advice to you. I'm sure you've already crossed some of those paths. Or maybe you're in the middle of the trenches. But if there's anything I can give back to somebody, especially someone as talented as you, I'm giving you that.
Thank you. Yeah, that is awesome to hear. Yeah, like you said, it's I've come across it maybe a couple times, and it's just it's gonna happen. This business is a beast. This business will eat you alive if you don't keep your spine.
This business is a bitch, but we can call it a beast too. But a good bitch.
Yes. Yeah, to keep it PG, it's beast.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Like you said, the business it's a bitch. And it'll eat you alive if you don't stand your ground. And I'm learning that. I've been learning that, and it's crazy because I feel like I've been learning it for the past year, and it's just going to be growing pains. I know that, but got to stand your ground. So thank you for that advice. It's always a good reminder, and it's definitely something I'll take with me.
Well, I'd like to maybe there's an event where both our paths cross. I'd like to commentate with you. I'd like to get your timing. I'd like to do that because I'd like to be able to refer people because I can't do them all. And sometimes there's a lot of events that are on the same day. There really is. And I could be quiet about it and say, okay, but I could reach out and say, hey, you may want to contact this person because they're looking for this or they're looking for that. And a lot of times they say, oh, bro, I'm already booked, or, oh man, I'm out of town. And they'll say, okay, give them my number. So there's always that, which is real answers. And, I've had people to this day, I think about it. I was already booked with Marv Nation, and in Marv Nation, they got a contract with DAZN. I've had, not Ray Flores, but Ray Flores' brother, Manuel Flores. He reached out to me and said, they need a commentator, Goosen Promotions. Are you available? It was on the same day. So I always ask myself, okay, I know I made the right decision because I'm still working with Marv Nation, but there's always that behind your head. What if they would have led to PVC or what it could have led to something, but we can only do one. And I appreciate that. At least he offered me that. He didn't have to offer it to me. And Ray Flores, in my opinion, is the Eminem of commentating. He is the Eminem of post-fight interviews. And no offense to Mark Kriegel. Mark Kriegel from ESPN is the GOAT. He really is. And I'm proud to say that they're friends of mine and they offer advice to me. sometimes Mark Kriegel, he'll call me on a Sunday and chew my ass out. He'll say, Richard, what the hell are you doing wearing a Top Rank hat, interviewing somebody from Top Rank? Do you work for them? Are they paying you? Is this in line? Is this in line? And this in line? Are you a fan or you're a journalist? I mean, he kept it 100 with me.
Oh,
Other
yeah.
probably wouldn't have. They probably said, oh, nice hat. Where do I get one? But no, he kept it 100, and I appreciate that. And this is on a Sunday when he chewed my ass out. But it's okay. I'll get a call from the GOAT himself, and he corrects you. I'll take it all day long.
Oh, yeah. That is awesome to hear. That is so cool. Yeah. No, hey, if somebody like that called me and it was 1 a.m., I would answer that call and say, go ahead, chew me out. I guess I deserve it. I understand. But yeah, that's awesome.
I'm going to be honest with you. It got to when he called again, I was like, oh shit, should I answer it or not? I mean, but yeah, it's cool. It's all good. So these are just stories that I share, and I've never shared them like I'm sharing them now. I just figured you can get a piece of it and use it to help you with your future. And just know that not if it happens, when it happens, just know, put your big boy pants on or your big girl pants on.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I know it's the inevitable. So thank you very much. I appreciate the advice. And I'm not taking it with a grain of salt. I'm taking it all in.
There you go. There you go. I'm sure you will. So let me ask you this. If you could make one change in boxing and in MMA, what would it be?
The politics in both. The politics is and not like legitimate political stuff. I mean, just the politics within the business, making decisions for monetary gain, purely with that at the forefront of their minds. And that is that's kind of taking over boxing and MMA. I mean, you see it so much in MMA now. Just so much politics. I wish, we could rid the politics and get back to the good old days when, fighters just fight.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of been the detriment of the sport for the past maybe 4 or so years. And will it be the possible downfall of one of these sports? Maybe. I don't see truly any of these sports going away anytime soon, or getting too political. But what it is affecting is the quality of fights we're seeing, the quality of talent we're seeing. I think it's truly making a mark and imprint on that. So hopefully we can rid the politics and rid, the monetary stuff in the forefront and just get back to fighting.
Is Turkey Al Sheik good for the sport of boxing or bad?
Oh, tough one. I have a hate-love relationship.
The fact that you had to think about that means a real answer is coming.
Yeah. I think right guy, wrong timing, if that makes sense. Right guy, bad timing, I would say. In the future, yes. Do I feel, again, we need to get back to fighting first? Absolutely. Then when we get that talent back, when we get those exciting fighters back, because, we see him working with the same handful of fighters, and that can only last for so long.
Yeah.
But if we get back to fighting, if we get back to pure grit and talent and skill and just dogs is what we're truly missing. I think you see him back in 5-6 years. Absolutely. He would be amazing for the sport.
Okay. I respect your answer. And a lot of people shy away from saying anything. You know why they shy away? Because they actually think they don't want to say the wrong thing. They actually think they're going to get a call that says, oh, hold on. It's Turkey Al Sheik. Yeah, I'll work for you. Oh yeah. I'll be your cut person. Oh no, I'll be your podcaster. Oh, I'll fight him. They actually think they're going to get a personal call from him. So they're careful on what they say. Not me. I'm going to call it the way it is. And the fact that you didn't just say, oh, he's this, without thinking, that you gave it some thought, I respect you. My level of respect went from here to you, which is always above here. It's not below here, to up here. Because you're not afraid to take on that question. May not be the answer everybody wants, may not be the correct answer, may not be the wrong answer. But the fact that you stood there with your balls and answered that, nothing but respect.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be kissing nobody's feet to get anywhere. You know, if I'm going to get anywhere, it's going to be with my authentic opinions and my authentic self. So, you know,
There you go.
I'm going to keep it real with my opinions. And again, it's my opinion. You know, if anybody's watching and doesn't agree with it, that's totally fine. You know, that's why we have free thinking.
Yep. Get there on your own merit, and you're going to feel
Yeah,
better about yourself and know you made the right decision every single time.
absolutely.
So listen, once again, let all the viewers, the fans, and followers and supporters know where can we follow you.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Fight Culture CA, and that's where I post majority of my stuff. I have some merch, I have magazines, interviews, really anything, any kind of content I can create on combat sports. That is where it's going to be. YouTube. It's the Fight Culture Podcast, and you'll see a few pre-fight interviews. I'm kind of slowing down on that end, but it's picking back up here soon. And so you'll see pre-fight interviews there. I also was doing vlogs for a little bit. I'm going to pick that back up just because I'm, like you said, I'm at so many shows. I'm everywhere almost every weekend. And so I'm actually having to take off to a show here tomorrow. So I like to vlog. So some vlogs will be coming back and just the behind the scenes of what I really do, just because I do so much. I'm in matchmaking now. I run social medias for some promotions. So I have a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So if you guys want to see some vlogs, head over to the Fight Culture Podcast on YouTube and you can find some stuff there. And that's pretty much where I'm at.
Exactly. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have a backyard? Do you have a house? Pick that up, please.
Yeah, I do.
You do? You do. Well, check this out. If you want some yard service done, I mean, if you want the best in town, it's the Maldonado Brothers, proudly serving the Central Valley for over 25 years, from Visalia to Chowchilla. Whether it's expert tree service or professional landscaping, we offer free estimates with a team you can trust, voted the best in the Central California. Oh, Central Valley, California, too. Call us today at 559-994-7746. That's 559-994-7746. And also, you'll get this cool cup right here.
Ooh.
But I'm telling you right now, you tell them the Fighter's Voice sent you, you'll get your 10% off, man. They take care of landscaping, put cement if you want to pull in there, if you want the tree trimmed. Because you know when that, what's that called, where mistletoe, once it starts to go up there, it eats your tree, man. It'll kill your tree. And we don't want your tree done. We want you well-rooted. We want fight culture well-rooted as far as the best tree service too, Maldonado Brothers. So they help us keep the lights on. Had to give a big shout out to our sponsor there. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah. Love that part of the game. Shout out to them.
Shout out to them. And I'm going to say this right now. Fighters, they're going to frown on me, Marissa. You know why? You know why? Because when these sponsors spend, and I'm going to put the pressure on the fighters. When the sponsors give these fighters $500 or $1,000, okay, they do. They put them on their shorts this big where nobody can see them. They give them a shout out on Instagram before and after, and then that's it. That's it. But us podcasters, we got to keep the lights on, Marissa. We do. And I feel that what we give them, we can give them just as much or even more. I'm not saying eliminate those sponsorships, but share the love, because we're going to share it right back, especially on 4K screen. Yes, I said it. Fighters, I love you. You know, I give you a platform. I give you whatever you need to do. I do it out of love, but it's business. Business is business and talk is talk. I've had a fighter, Marissa. He asked me, Richard, can you sponsor me? And I said, brother, I just did. I brought you on the show. Since then, you picked up 3 sponsors. So, I mean, come on. I mean, you know, and you would think you'd get, hey, I want to thank them. No, they don't. So I don't get butthurt anymore. And I don't get disappointed anymore when a fighter says, hey, I want to thank so-and-so. Even though you're on the podcast and you said, I want to fight this fighter, which develop a bunch of cheesemen, develop a bunch of animosity with another fighter. I'm not going to say who they are, but you guys know what fight took place and what the Fighter's Voice did to help with that fight. So enough said. I'm already done venting. Let me pin drop. Instead of mic drop, I'll pin drop.
There you go.
Yeah. We got to keep the podcast entertaining. We got to keep it 100. And that's why there's a platform. And sometimes not just for the fighter. Sometimes me and you, we got some stuff we got to get off our chest.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes we need to vent about the business. Sometimes we need to vent about how much appreciation we just want a little ounce of it. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I hear what you're saying about, you know, sometimes they missed that a little bit. That they missed out on the opportunity to, you know, just say a little, not even a big thank you, not a big huge shout out, just a little,
Yeah. Yeah.
appreciate you having me. And
Egg,
so,
egg,
but I am noticing they are starting to do it in the MMA community. I have a few guys, a handful of guys who, and it's such a good feeling. It's
it
not
really
like,
is.
yeah, it's not like I don't ever feel, like I'm owed a thank you. But
Yes.
when you give it right, when I ask you, is there anybody you'd like to thank for, the position you're in today, and they take the time to say, well, thank you for having me on. I'm like, whoa, hold on. That's greater than anything,
Yeah.
anything that I've
Yeah.
experienced. Even
Yeah.
if I got money from it, I wouldn't care. A
Yeah.
simple thank you is amazing. So, I hope that culture change shifts a little bit too. I hope we get a little bit more thank yous.
It does. But I will tell you this, knowing what you know and doing what you do, it took me years to get the compliments. I mean, I was flattered to get a compliment from Timothy Bradley. I was flattered to get a compliment from uh, Sergio Mora. I was flattered to get a compliment from Abner Mares. And it was well worth it. So when I didn't from the guys around here, or still don't sometimes, but to get compliments from these guys that are future Hall of Famers, that are GOATs in their respectful field, who reinvented themselves as commentators, it just feels good. I mean, that says it
Yeah.
all right then and there. And nobody twisted their arm. They said it on their own merit. And thank you, Jesus. So it does come back around. But it is disappointing when you do help some folks around you and they just kind of, it is what it is,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, getting a small thank you is better than anything monetary I've ever received. I mean, I think people kind of have a hard time understanding what really goes into all of this. Even a simple 20-minute interview. I
Yeah.
mean, right now I have a $3,000 camera, a $1,000 light, a $200 microphone, like a $3,000 laptop, and that's just from my little old job that I'm able to provide
Mm-hmm.
myself with, and so when I get that little thank you, I'm like, huh, all right. I feel like I just paid off my camera. That's amazing.
Yeah, there you
Like,
go.
Yeah, it truly is amazing. And so when it happens, it's special.
Well, you know what? I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you've made some adjustments, and it was well worth the wait. When Spines contacted you and we reached out, I mean, you reached back, and I appreciate that. I got to have you back. I got to have you back. And definitely when there's some fights coming up here, or there's some news you want to drop, give me a call, give me a text. Say, hey, Richard, can I have 15 minutes? I want to let the people know, and so forth. And that goes a long way. It really does, because I like to know what's happening. I can't cover every single thing that's going on. And if I have somebody doing their homework and they got something they want to launch, that's why the platform was created. That's why the Fighter's Voice was created, to give everybody an opportunity, not just the fighters. And like I said, you don't need a mouthpiece or boxing gloves to be on the show. Everybody has a fight in their life, fighting for their rent, fighting to get sponsors, fighting for their marriage, fighting cancer, fighting to be mayor of Fresno. We had Jerry Dyer on the show. Every fighter has a voice, and so do you. So, I appreciate you coming on the show. You're very knowledgeable. You're very confident. And I'm going to be honest with you. You got nothing but real answers coming out of your mouth. And I appreciate that, because I know somebody that's plastic, straight up. I'll stop already, or I'll go like, okay, I got to carry this interview, or I'm not going to ask this person because I don't want no fake reply or any of the above. I don't need to be off air to get the truth from you. I believe the truth comes out of your mouth when the camera's going on. What you see is what you get. And I appreciate you.
Thank
And
you. Yeah.
I'm going to say this too. I underestimated you as well. I really did.
Thank
I'm
you.
not afraid
I
to say it.
appreciate that.
Of
Yeah,
course.
I love hearing that. I love that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you telling me that. I feel like it's a common occurrence, but it doesn't phase me one bit, just because I think I'm so confident in my abilities, and what I know, and my knowledge, and how I carry myself. But thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you being real with me,
That's in a good way. When I tell you that I underestimated you, that's in a good way.
yeah.
That's a compliment.
Oh yeah.
It really is.
Yeah,
I'm telling you
absolutely.
that.
Thank you. Thank you again. And,
Never overlooked
thank
you.
you.
Never sideswiped you. That's why you're here
Yeah.
on the platform.
Yeah, I mean, I notice. I see who you interview. I see who you take the time to speak with, and so when this opportunity popped up, I was already grateful, and I knew I was ready to make my mark and make my statement. So again, just thank you for putting me on this platform, allowing me to say my piece, and allowing me to prove myself, allowing me to not shut down any doubt pretty much. So thank
No.
you very much, and thank you for everything you've done for the culture, our culture of covering fights in this area. I mean, in the Central Valley, people like to think you're already a few steps behind, but people like you, people like myself, we've already proved that that's not the truth. If we really want it, we can make it out of the Central Valley and do big things. So again, just thank you so much. Thank you for doing this in your son's legacy as well, and God bless you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have not followed or subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do. It's www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. And so does our guest, Marissa from Fight Culture. As always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.